Today, we're decoding a secret language written in stone. It's a kind of silent debate about tradition versus innovation, a debate carried out by some of ancient Egypt's most powerful people. This is a story about a map, a big mystery, and a message sent from beyond the grave.
Okay, let me ask you something really simple. If you're an ancient Egyptian and you need to draw a map of the entire cosmos, a guide to the heavens, inside a tomb, where are you going to put it? On the ceiling, right? I mean, it's the most logical place. The ceiling is right above you, just like the sky. And for the ancient Egyptians, who were absolute masters of symbolism, this was the rule. It was the cosmic standard for guiding a soul to the afterlife. But then things get weird. Centuries after this rule was set, some of the most powerful people in Egypt just broke it. They took this sacred map to eternity, and instead of putting it overhead where it belonged, they plastered it all over the walls. Now, this was not a mistake. It was a statement. And that's the mystery we are digging into today. So to get to the bottom of this, our story starts at the sacred site of Abydos. This was the main hub for the god Osiris, the lord of the underworld. And here, buried deep under the sand, lies the blueprint for our entire mystery, a building so strange, it completely stunned the archaeologist who found it. Picture this, it's 1914. A team led by Professor Edward Neville starts digging. They started with over 400 men and boys and ended up with more than 600, all just hauling away mountains of sand with baskets. They were looking for a simple passage, but what they were about to uncover was something else entirely. You can just feel the astonishment in Neville's own words. They knew they'd found something important, but they had no idea just how unique it was. They had literally stumbled upon a building that had no equal in all of Egypt. This is the Osireion. It wasn't a tomb for a pharaoh. It was a symbolic tomb for the god Osiris himself. Architecturally, it's designed to be an island, representing the very first patch of land to rise from the primordial waters of creation. The whole building is a piece of living mythology. It's a machine for rebirth. And inside this cosmic machine, they found the key text for our story, the Book of Nut. Now, this isn't just a book, it's like a celestial GPS. It shows the sun's journey through the body of the sky goddess, Nut, how she swallows the sun at dusk and gives birth to it again at dawn. For anyone who died, this was the ultimate roadmap to resurrection. So where was this all-important map in the tomb of a god? Exactly where you'd think, deep inside the Osireion. The depiction of the sky goddess Nut and her cosmic map was carved right onto the ceiling. The rule was set in stone. Literally, the sky goes overhead, period. Okay, so let's fast forward a few centuries and travel to the great necropolis of Thebes. Here, in a cemetery called Asasif, a group of very powerful elites were getting ready for their own trips to the afterlife. And, well, they decided to do things a little differently. During the 25th and 26th dynasties, the most powerful officials in Egypt were building these enormous, complex tombs. They were like palaces for the dead. And inside these palaces, they made a radical break from that divine model back at Abydos. And these weren't minor figures, okay? We're talking about guys like Montuamhat, a high priest of the god Amun, and Padi-Amenep, a chief lector priest, who was basically the head librarian of all the sacred texts. These men knew the religious rulebook better than anyone. They weren't ignoring tradition, they were choosing to innovate. So here's the puzzle, laid out plain and simple. The standard, the one set in the mythical tomb of a god, was to put the Book of Nut on the ceiling. But in the tombs of these powerful men, we find the anomaly. The map is on the walls. The big question is, why? To figure out the motive here, we need to start connecting the dots. We need to get inside their heads and understand the logic behind what seems like a really bizarre break with sacred tradition. Given who these tomb owners were, we can pretty much rule out a simple mistake. No, this was absolutely intentional. So what was the new message they were trying to send? What were they trying to say about their own journey into the afterlife? To understand what they were up to, we have to use what scholars call the grammar of the tomb. The idea is that nothing in a tomb was accidental. Every single element was placed with purpose, creating this complex spiritual engine. So changing the location of a key text like this, that's like changing the grammar of a sacred spell. It fundamentally changes the meaning. And when you look closely, you see this wasn't just one guy's random idea.
The tombs of Padiamanop and Montu Mehat especially show they were working from a shared playbook. The placement on the walls, the specific rooms they chose, it all points to a coordinated effort, a new school of thought on how to achieve eternity. And here it is. This is the smoking gun. Padiamanope, our innovator-in-chief, had a title that directly linked him to the Temple of Osiris at Abydos. That means he knew, intimately, the original tomb where the ceiling decoration was the standard. He wasn't ignorant of the rules, he was one of their keepers. So he wasn't breaking the rules, he was upgrading them. By moving the Book of Nut from the ceiling to the walls, these officials were making this incredibly profound statement. The person in the tomb was no longer just looking up at the cosmic map. Now, the very walls of the tomb became the body of the sky goddess. They were physically inside the map, totally enveloped by the cycle of rebirth. It was a more direct, more immersive, and way more personal path to eternity. But this story of discovery doesn't just end in ancient Thebes. Today, the hunt to understand these cosmic secrets has come full circle, right back to the sands of Abydos. But this time, with some brand new tools. I mean, just look at the evolution of exploration right here. On the left, you've got the backbreaking work from 1914. On the right, a 2022 survey using ground-penetrating radar, or GPR. This modern tech sends pulses into the earth and maps what's underneath, all without lifting a single shovel. And what that modern survey found is just so tantalizing. The GPR picked up on tons of anomalies, strong signals indicating solid structures, most likely undiscovered ancient walls or even entire tombs, all just a few meters below the surface. Abydos is still packed with secrets. The ancient Egyptians were never static. They debated, they innovated, and they personalized their path to the afterlife, leaving behind these incredible puzzles for us to solve. And as our technology lets us see deeper than ever before, it just proves that the ground we walk on is still waiting to reveal even more of their secrets. You have to wonder, the greatest discoveries may be yet to come.